What's up, Rockstars? We got some awesome news to cover, some brand new games to show off, new expansions, returning of old games, and a very cool deep dive. So let's go ahead and start right now. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. Now I have a lot of news to go over here. There's a ton coming up and a ton that's even live right now, but some new previews of some stuff I want to really dive into and let you know what's new, what's coming up, what's all that about. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to try and go at a rapid pace. There are timestamps down below and a big old long description. Control F is your friend. Everything I show and more, everything I'm even tracking is down in there up until I reach that 5,000 character limit that YouTube limits me to. So there's a ton there. Feel free to check it out. Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's start with Fateforge Chronicles Kaan. I'm doing the early stuff that's like about to end right up front. So 35 hours to go at time of recording. I'm recording this not too long before you get this. I try to record the news as up to date as I can for you guys. So seriously, again, if you need to at any time, feel free to pause, find a link, do whatever you need to do. Fateforge Chronicles Kaan is ending. It is now kind of wrapping up. It did get a project we love. I noticed that on the last time I saw that too. It's kind of cool. I dig that. That's a manual thing the Kickstarter does, by the way. 2,000 plus backers, 178,000 raised, and they're right now in that last 48 hours. So you're going to see that kind of rising up. You can see right up front what they're doing. They're working on the enemy pack 2, which is awesome. I'm assuming that's a 2-9-11. That'd be a lot of enemy packs. This is a narrative app-driven game. I know you've heard that a dozen times before. It does have some really cool monster minis available here that look pretty unique. I really like the skinny guy here. I think he's pretty neat. So yeah, I mean, it looks cool and it kind of talks about a deluxe edition, exclusive unlocks, get at the game early, all that kind of fun stuff for a Kickstarter. Feel free to check it out, see if it's something that you're interested in. They did have cat cards unlocked, and really at that point, it's a given, right? Okay, moving on from that. Project Ironside, that $399 kind of a coffee table size, but then you can expand it, get it bigger, entry-level board game table is still available for 57 more hours. So they're actually just about to hit their 48 hours. Feel free again to take a look at that. It is an all-metal design, very universal. So and if you don't get attachments, you kind of plug in the little holes there. But again, $400 for a actual table for gaming with the well and all that. Actually pretty good price. So it's definitely priced appropriately. And you can get all the add-ons you want for it, of course, and still kind of come out cheaper than like $7,000 or something somebody's gonna charge you. See, not $2,400. Now again, you can keep adding to it, but still quite nice. So feel free to check it out. It kind of talks about all the little things you can do in there. Very, very cool. And I'm glad more people, over 4,000 people are saying, hey, I want some of this. I can finally have that game table. I want it, or a second one, maybe something like that. Stormlight Premium Miniatures. This is probably the last time I'm going to cover this one. 3 days to go. 15,000, almost 16,000 backers. Over 3 million raised. Honestly, again, I think it's hard to get the IP and the good deal. I just unboxed Marvel Zombies for $35. If you didn't see that yet, I'll go ahead and link that down below as well. You can check out the unboxing of that. I'll have a review out for you guys soon, but it's very hard to get IP games that so it has the IP cost in there and all that, and then also like a quality product in return for a good price. Getting all three of those is very hard to do. Quality product, good price, and IP. Normally it's like, here's 3, pick 1, maybe pick 2. So I think Stormlight Premium Miniatures is there. I think premium's in the name, but the price honestly seems pretty good too. For the regular minis here, $30 for these 7 is for the sculpted bases, and they're like 40 millimeters tall. Honestly, seems quite good. They're definitely multi-piece. They're actually putting some effort into that, assuming they come out well. I haven't seen that. But what really gets them is the 75 millimeter painted ones. Those are awesome. So if you're going to kind of scroll down here, this big thing, by the way, as well, for like, 200 something or 300 something, like $350 for this giant thing for a 1/10 scale, 12 inches tall thing. Like, that thing's massive. It's huge. But the painted minis I feel are actually quite well priced. And you can see right here, they are 80 millimeters instead of the 45 millimeters. So almost double the size and painted for like $15 a pop is actually crazy good. Normally you get something like that in like a collector's edition. It's like $180 for like a video game or something like that. So to get something like this here for like anime characters or anything that's licensed typically is quite pricey. A lot more than $15. So honestly, again, I think this is fantastic. And they even have like STLs. You can print them out. Great deal there, and that's ending soon. Idols of Torment also ending soon. Broke 100,000. They are now at almost 130,000, and still 3 days to go. Over 1,000 backers. A great entry to it, especially for how much it bucks the norm. I think it's made by another YouTuber, a fan of these skirmish games, of miniatures, of terrain, all this stuff, and he actually made something that's actually miniature agnostic. So you can just kind of buy the rule set, $15, and play his game. Or you can get what little bit you need printed. You can 3D print a lot of this. You can replace a lot of it. The art looks super cool. The idea is very neat. It kind of reminds me of Eternal Judgment, or Eternal Champions Judgment, the where you're like collecting souls and all that. But the terrain, you can like move the terrain, which is I think a neat idea. So if something's on the terrain, you can move it closer to you and then do your move, stuff like that. Very, very cool. I really dig that. And as you can see, the minis I think are like all over the place when it comes to like just these crazy themes and stuff they have going on here. Just gnarly stuff. So if you're into that, this is definitely a game for you. We're going to be looking at Deep Madness later and the new stuff there. So yeah, and stay tuned if you're into that. Okay, RONE Invasion. I think I'm saying that right. 40,000, 17 days to go. I think they're totally going to hit the 58, and congrats to them for that. That's awesome because this was a big leap for them. In fact, last time I covered their game, I was kind of cautious about whether or not they'd actually hit that because it's a huge leap for them from these kind of much more smaller card games to now like a proper, like kind of more big box game with all these minis and stuff like that, or the dice, I'm sorry, and the sculpted screws. So you actually can like screw the dice in, so you get the little bits, and these are like resources you can use to kind of like mana kind of thing. But you can also insert them into a die to change its probability. And notice there are 3 spots on each side, so maybe you want to add one on each side, maybe you want to have a whole bunch. I mean, there's a lot of customization there. It's a very cool idea. I don't know exactly how into it I'm going to be with like screwing in a little thing. It looks like it's probably like 2-3 screws real quick. I mean, like it's not like a deep screw or anything, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff there. It's a very unique thing there, and I think it's pretty cool that they're kind of playing around with that. So that's neat. Of course, I dig that, and I'm glad to see them actually kind of on a good track for that. Temple of Horrors 2.0, 40,000. The original campaign needed like 35, 38,000, so they've surpassed that now, and so have 4 days left to go, which means they haven't even hit that 48-hour bump at the very end. So that's honestly, I think, very good. It shows that the 2.0, listening to feedback and then incorporating that and relaunching kind of with that hype wave that's still there is important. And it's important the timing there too. I'm going to cover that in a later thing that I show you. But yeah, this is honestly really, really cool to see all the feedback and the kind of fans backing what they want in this niche game. I think that's awesome. That's what this is all about, right? Now, kind of polar opposite of that a little bit. Tainted Grail, Kings of Ruin, 15,500 backers, $2.8 million, and still 8 days left. They're doing all these daily unlocks. It's not every day, I don't think either. I think it's like every other day or something like that. Day 13, though, you're getting more unlocks there. You can see, tons of green stuff, right? Save this, save this, save that, save this. So if you were going to buy everything, you're going to be saving quite a bit, which is super cool. But notice that this doesn't say like Kickstarter exclusive or GameFound exclusive or anything like that. You're not seeing a lot of that. So get what you need. Buying stuff you don't need is a waste of money regardless of how much you saved on it. So that's kind of my advice there. This candle guy, by the way, is freaking sweet. The candle golem, I dig that. You can now see they have a render of that. I think before it was just art, so now they have the render. And again, this is going to thicken up. You know that Tainted Grail was like famous for the banana blades, right? They have very thick pieces when needed. That's kind of E-Star's kind of motto. They're the publishers of the minis. So yeah, there's the art with the skinny chains. So you see they've rendered them a little bit more. And of course, when they finally print it, they're going to fatten it up even more. Just be aware of that as you're kind of going through things. But the design right? The art style is super cool. And look at this. Look at this. Standees. Standees. Oh my gosh, a standee pack, which means you don't have to paint it, right? Because standees come in color. It comes painted, or kind of in a way. So that's pretty cool. I kind of do that, especially because the art I find is so much better than the miniatures they even produce. The art's just like stellar. So the more art you can get, in my opinion, the better. All right, Terraforming Mars, the dice game. 3 days left to go. 300,000+ raised from almost 8,000 backers. This is definitely doing well. And again, still has that 48-hour rush to go. It's cheap too, $35, and you essentially get Terraforming Mars. Again, I really like these smaller packages of these games. So you can get, kind of the fun of the game, but in a much cheaper package, a much smaller box. I dig that. Now, the dice game, adding into the dice game, it reminds me of like Bang the dice game, right? Like it's like a streamlined version, but this even includes a solo mode. So you can literally play this with yourself. Like you don't even need other people. You can just whip this out and play it, which I think is super neat. And again, $35. Redwood, over 1,000 backers, over 100,000 raised. Honestly, I wasn't sure if this would either fund very well or not. And it looks like it's doing very well. Still 16 days to go. This is kind of newer. If I could describe this, it's like playing X-Wing with like or a lot of the skirmish games do this, where you have kind of like movement, like in arcs and stuff like that. And then you have a field of view, and you're trying to take a picture of stuff, and you get points based off of how you do that. So it's very much a maneuvering kind of game, and you're kind of adjusting, the map and stuff like that. The map is circular, so if that's a turnoff, then that's a turnoff. And it does have some, kind of cool minis too, as you're taking the pictures and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a cool idea. I really do. It's not something that I would buy personally, but it doesn't have to be either. Not every game has to be made for me. Believe it or not, even I believe that. So I think that's a super cool idea, though, and definitely a unique one for photography. Speaking of like field of vision and stuff, the Stifling Dark, so 24 days ago, so you got like a whole month. This is going to be on for forever. Already almost 100,000, though, over almost 1,500 backers, and that's probably just going to keep going up, I think. So in this one, same kind of thing. It's a hidden movement, right? It's like a 4v1 where you have like the killer, and then you have like the 4 people, and they're trying to like survive and get all the information, and then escape or confront them. And you have like this flashlight you can flash around and try and find the guy or find clues and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool. I dig it. I like the idea of hidden movement games just in general. I think this is a very neat implementation of it. All right, moving on. Remember, you can also get Avalon Hill's Mage of the Mirror quest pack for Heroquest. And it says like a quest pack, and I feel a quest pack sounds like a booklet, right? Or maybe some tiles. This is like a whole expansion. You get new minis, right? Plenty of new minis, new furniture and all that kind of stuff. And then of course tokens and cards. And in fact, there's not really a whole lot of like map stuff there at all, which is, again, not something I would have kind of expected. But as you can tell, quite a bit of stuff. Like there's a lot here. $45. So, I mean, you're kind of paying for it and getting it. I think it's cool. All right, now after that, of course, staying on Hasbro Pulse, we have Heroscape Age of Annihilation, $250. They need to prove that a bit more. Right now, it's at 2,000 backers. It needs 8,000. Still 37 days ago, so still plenty. But you would think the initial rush would get them a little bit farther than that. I would like to see 50% there. So I want to keep sharing this because if you're into it, if you want some more Heroscape, this is definitely a way to get it. But it is kind of pricey. It's kind of an all or nothing thing. It's a new entry level for it, and you get all these minis, and you get the terrain and stuff like that. The minis look okay. I mean, the lighting doesn't help too much, and neither does the color of the minis. But overall, I think these look fine. A bunch of like terrain and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. Fairly blocky, but overall pretty nice. And then of course you get all the different tokens and stuff that you need as well. So this doesn't look like a whole lot, but then if you scroll down, I think to the very bottom here, it'll kind of give you a list of everything in there. 71 miniatures, 50 army cards, 74 hex tile terrain pieces. Like you get a ton of stuff. I mean, it's not terrible, but yeah, 250 is still a lot of money. I want to show you something here soon that's a little bit more than that, but it's not a whole lot more than that, but you get way more. So I'll kind of call back to that here in a little bit. Moving on, we got Oathsworn Into the Deepwood 2nd edition on October 18th. This is something you definitely want to check out if you have not played Oathsworn. and you like grimdark stories or low fantasy stories or kind of difficult gameplay or really interesting boss battles, this is something to check out. 9.3 on BGG, and very well earned, I might add. And look at this, 12,929 followers, and it's just going to keep going higher. Again, there's a link down to all this below, but seriously, this is going to be big, and honestly, I'm surprised they're still able to produce it at what they're charging. So very excited to see that. Obviously, I can't make any announcements yet, but it's good. It's good. I'm impressed. I really am, because my goodness, I don't know how they do it, to be honest. Cthulhu, Death May Die, Fear the Unknown. Guys, I mean, come on, look at this. Almost 7,000. If Kaan could have done anything to kind of bring people back together, Cthulhu is the bringer of people. It brings harmony and joy to people's lives, just as Cthulhu does in the stories, kind of. Not really. This is season 3, by the way. They were calling it season 3 elsewhere. They don't call it here, but same kind of thing. So the first one had season 1 and season 2. This is season 3. So new monsters, new pretty much everything, even some new rules. So it'll be interesting to see what that's about. I have a feeling in each box that you get, each episode, it comes with kind of its own custom rules. I imagine it's mostly that. I doubt it's too much of a rule rewrite. There might be a predominant theme in season 3 that they're adding. That's kind of like, it's not just every single one here, but it's everything that is in season 3, though I'm not sure. And ideally, that doesn't break backwards compatibility. Ideally, you can bring your other monsters in there, and I'm assuming you can. I think that's what it is. I think the rules, any rules change seems scary. I don't think it's actually that bad, though. But yeah, no, this is going to be big for a lot of people. I think it's great. I've played every single scenario of Death May Die, several of them many times over. So definitely I have gotten my money's worth out of my previous purchase of it. And so I'm kind of excited to see what it is. But at the same time, I've also played a lot of Death May Die, and I don't know how much more I need. So it'll be kind of interesting. It's kind of a balance between offering something new and not alienating people by offering something too new, right? And I don't know where I lie on that. I think I have to see it to kind of know, if that makes sense. I think the first time I shared this, I was kind of more like but I mean, honestly, if it's something new and exciting, I might just get smitten. I'm not sure. Honestly, $35 for this Marvel Zombies game has made me rethink the value proposition of pretty much everything I'm showing you guys at this point. That is a crazy good deal. So, yeah, we'll see what it's like, I guess. Shipping is obviously the difficulty there. Deep Madness, Madness Reborn, and Reprint. Okay, so let's go and talk about this. Over 1,000 backers, and they kind of just launched this. We're going to dive in a little bit here just to show what's new. I do have an interview with Dimension Games at Gen Con where they show me this exact expansion with the miniatures. I get to hold them, I get to show them. I'll link down in the description to that as well. And you should see a thumbnail on the screen or a picture of it or something like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and kind of dive in here and take a look. Yet everything is kind of like not final, of course, here. But, you know, it kind of talks about it. But look, 10,700 backers back then. That is huge, especially back then. And then they got another 8,700 in a reprint, which is actually, I think, a very good turnout for something like this. And then it came out in several different other languages and stuff. So they're definitely bringing back more. It's kind of interesting because it's actually done by like fans a little bit when it comes to the scenarios. So that's cool. But it'll have 7 new scenarios with it. And then, of course, tokens and stuff like that. We'll look into that. So the new scenarios, 7 scenarios, and then these minis. These are all the epic monsters that they had before, but done in today's standards, I guess. So a little bit higher quality and a little bit larger as well. These are like 130 millimeters on this one, right? 110, 110. I think the other ones were like 75. They were big, especially at the time, but kind of now. So they're all breaking around 100 plus. I think this one's probably the smallest, and that one was definitely the smallest. Another one too is very much like almost just a normal dude. 95 on that one, and then 90 here. I didn't realize this one was so small. I don't even know if I got Insidious. Maybe I didn't get that one. I got quite a bit of them. I didn't get everything in this game, but I got a lot. And FYI, guys, like I paid for this stuff, so which almost then hurts that I have not played the game. But you can see it. There's the Monstrum box there that is full of minis, like full of minis. And the P1 is right below that has all the non-mini stuff in there. But yeah, these are looking great. The Drifter King I know I got. I always thought he looked awesome. And of course I got him in a staff broke at the time. But you know, there's a lot of cool stuff here for sure. There's a little nice thing here. like, hey, what comes in this? I'm going to show that off. I'll talk about the upgrade kit real quick first. So it comes with a few, like a brand new rule book that's like reorganized and restructured, which this sounds great. Anytime you're getting like a third printing, you know the rule book better be improving, and I'm sure it has. And then of course, color corrected brightened tiles. I very much appreciate that after playing Darkest Dungeon. That's a tease of the review that's coming for that. Same with the punch boards and stuff like that. Revised versions of every card. So, but they're all minor. They even note that, like, guys, the game's great. It was great the first time. It's great the second time when everybody came back and bought more of it. It's not like it's a bad game because you don't have the very latest updated stuff. So don't fret too much of that. But they're selling it at about cost anyway. So what comes in it? Well, it comes with all of this stuff. Now, in my opinion, that picture should be here. That picture shouldn't be hidden in a click. Like, you should show all this, because what you don't realize when you just show the minis, when you're just showing the minis, is that is exactly how people are valuing it. Now, there is a little bit of card and a little bit of here, but honestly, it's right after a whole bunch of minis. It's like sandwiched in the middle there. And I think this shows off a lot more how this is an actual big expansion, right? Because you actually get the scenarios and you get to kind of see that physically, right? Which kind of helps. And of course, the giant minis and the smaller minis and all the tokens and cards and stuff like that with the listed components there. I think that helps out a little bit. But then after that, then they have all the reprints. The thing you can get into it, that the $85 for the Crawling Core Pledge. That's new thing that they're doing, and I believe that comes with the reprint stuff as well. Let's see, a rulebook, 9 scenarios. My goodness, right here, Madness Reborn Pledge. That's what you want. I apologize. For $99, and then the Crawling Core Pledge comes with 9 different scenarios. This is just Deep Madness. It looks like a different core box art, which is kind of cool. Of the new Deep Madness core game box featuring updated cover art and logos. There, see, that's why I didn't recognize it. I was like, what the heck? I dig it. I think that looks a lot better than the core one. I think it really does. It really stands out. That being said, it very much stands out from the old stuff too, right? So they didn't update everything there, but that's fine. What I was impressed by is that the gameplay all in, after three Kickstarters worth of stuff, is still under $400. I'm actually quite impressed by that. That is over 300 highly detailed miniatures, and I mean, we're getting bigger sizes too. So you're at a little bit over $1 a mini, and it's not like they spam a whole bunch of copies too. Now, there are some repeats for sure, like, little larva and stuff like that, but it's not too bad. It's not like you're getting like 30 of the same like zombie mini or something like that. 27 scenarios, 14 game boxes is a ton of game. You don't need all of this unless you're like actually going to play it all. If you have a core game group that loves playing this kind of stuff, a difficult Cthulhu style games, then this is going to be your jam for sure. But just realize and back appropriately what you actually need. So that's kind of my 2 cents on there. They do have a new Monstrum box, by the way. It's going to be expensive to ship, just letting you know that right now. I'm a little jealous though. I like the red one that I got. But I really like this easy open box. That's super. I have to like take all the layers out, and like if you want the ones in there, right, and the current one, you got to like take them all out, then get that one, and then put them all back in. It's a pain. It's nice for storage, but it's a pain to actually use. But yeah, it's a full reprint of like everything. And just as an FYI, no shipping. So just shipping. Nope, don't know yet. We'll find out. Of course, we'll find out. But this is coming out here very soon, so feel free to check that out. All right, we got to keep going. Elden Ring. Guys, I haven't mentioned this in a while, but I don't know if you knew this or not, but Elden Ring's coming out now. I have been playing Elden Ring more than I should, and it is fantastic. I've been enjoying it immensely. It's one of those things, it's kind of interesting because I know how everybody's like, oh, it's hard, but I mean, it's... Again, I think all of us our age, like we grew up with really hard games, like I'm talking like NES, arcade, stuff like that, stuff that was meant just to eat your quarters, right? It's like, oh, there's like 30 minutes of content in this game, but we're going to have you die so many freaking times that we're going to make that 30 minutes be this long. Nowadays, they just put like all kinds of collectibles and grind and stuff like that but at the time it was just difficulty. It was just, hey, you're going to be playing the same Mega Man level over and over again. Eventually you're going to beat them, but there's only like 5 bosses, so it's like whatever. Elden Ring though has been a blast. It's been a lot of fun. I've liked going into it mostly blind. try not to Google too much, so I'm experiencing all these new things, which is super fun. 19,000 backers, guys. This is going to be huge. Again, this is by SFG. They did the Dark Souls, but they redid the rule set and are coming out with 2 new core boxes. I will be getting at least one of those, playing it and seeing what I think about it, and that'll kind of drive me to what I feel about Elden Ring. Now, if SFG wants to send me a copy of this Elden Ring prototype that I know they probably exist because I imagine Quack and a few others might be getting it, I would love to get my hands on it and actually play it, especially as a fan of the video game, as I've been enjoying that. But, either way, I'll try to get as much information as I can to get some experience with it, to give you my opinion on this. I'll let you guys know exactly what I think about Elden Ring. Okay, now this is coming in 15 days. This is on BackerKit, though, so FYI, this is BackerKit. Forged Adventure Series 1, that's going to be actually super cool, I think, because it's done by Broken Anvil, which have a very successful company already, and so 101 pre-assembled plastic RPG minis. I mean, for $120, it's already almost $1 a mini, and you could unlock even more, which is crazy. Another 111 more minis for a total of 212. I don't know what I'm doing there. That's super cool. Super cool. And there's some repeats, but honestly, it's looking neat. And I'm not seeing any more than 3 for any kind of repeat anyway. These little toadstool guys look awesome, by the way. So very, very cool. If you need some D&D minis, that is your jam. Homeworld Fleet Command, guys. This is... I've been a huge fan of like RTS space battles. I remember playing Empire at War when that came out and stuff like that. I really liked the land space battle stuff there. Homeworld was super cool. A friend of mine had this when I was growing up, and I would play it almost every time I went to his house. Super cool to see. This will be coming out in November, so about a month from now. This will be here. Again, I'll link down to this below. It's going to have a ton of minis, 101 plastic ships. You're going to be able to just have these massive space battles in this game. It's going to be really, really cool. So I'm really excited to see that. Moving on, we also have Cities Untold Dwarven Forges, another hot one I'm kind of looking at. I saw this at Gen Con, and it looks fantastic. Now, it's going to be pricey. Of course, I believe Dwarven Forge has now raised their prices a little bit from what they've done before, but I don't think they've raised it at all before that. Like it was always kind of pricey. It's definitely a premium thing to do, but look at that. Look at the lighting effects that you get and the wonderful like water effects. It comes pre-painted. It looks just like this. When you get it, it'll look just like this. It's fantastic. It's super cool. If you got the money, if you're willing to invest in this kind of scenario map stuff, they are the ones to do for sure. Highly recommended. The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. This is going to be huge when it comes out, March 2023. I know I've covered that date before, but I wanted to make sure to reiterate that. That was moved to March. It was delayed. Kind of a bummer. This is by Chip Theory Games, and it's going to be big, I am sure. And as an FYI, there is plenty of information here. You can kind of sink your teeth into a little bit. I'm not going to dive too deep into this because I already have before, but yeah, looks super cool, and it's definitely going to explode once it gets here. Okay. Final Fantasy VII, I need to discuss this a little bit. Now, I asked for you guys to look into it, and you guys did, and I thank you for it. That being said, I also got some information from Dicebreaker, and to be fair, I'm going to go ahead and share that, and I'll share that article down in the link below, just so I'm not like getting their stuff and regurgitating to you without giving credit where credit's due, because they are there. They took their own picture, and they decided to actually get some information as well. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat some of that. Really, the sad part is we're not getting a whole lot. This is a whole article essentially saying that we have no information at all, which is kind of unfortunate. But what we do know is it's being made by Square Enix in-house. So it's going to be made by them. Literally, they Hobby Japan was only given this and a little bit of information. So we don't know when. We don't even know what it's going to look like. All we know is that they are working on it and they are planning on delivering it. But when that is, we just don't know. So as we find more information, I will let you guys know. Of course, you guys know I'll be diving deep into that. If you ever hear any information, reach out to me. Let me know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know everywhere what's going on with that. Okay, now, this is Townsfolk Tussle. I announced this before, but they kind of have this nice little update here. It's going to be in February. February 2023 is going to be the expansion ones. They have 3 expansions, the Sprinkle falls with this awesome refrigerator swinging door attack, which is amazing. We have another fisherman, which with a familiar last name, so probably related to our fisherman we got. The Eerie Neighbors Misty Bluff expansion here. You can see some of the stuff here. And then the Tough Times for the Peddler. And these are going to, I think, put different spins on it, not just add content, but for instance, in this one, you start where everything's stolen from you, and then you have to like gather all this stuff. You start with like garbage material, and then you have to upgrade it from there. But I like this, sew a diaper, babies, bottle, toddler tactics kind of stuff going on here. It's very cool. It says here, you are the mourner, right? So there's one of the little heroes there. So it looks like you probably get a spin on the game with one more townsfolk and then a couple more ruffians to kind of theme versus for each city, which is, I think, kind of cool. I think that's I dig it. I think that's neat, and I'm excited to see what else is coming from that. Okay, so next up we have, this is from KOA Studios. They stole my initials, but that's fine. I didn't quite get the 3 letters copyrighted in time. Too bad there. But this is kind of interesting, and both good and bad. Okay, so they have this coming up. This is a second kind of attempt at this. Kingdoms of Akandia, that's the KOA, the 7 Realms, right? So they came to Kickstarter, didn't really fund, but got a lot of feedback, and now they're coming back with kind of an updated version of it. They are waiting for 3,000 backers, I believe it is, maybe 2,000 backers, I think it is. They're at 910. I guess I wish they had launched sooner. I wish they were able to kind of turn about quickly, like that Temple of Horrors 2.0 that kind of like reassessed, rechanged some things, and then went back. Because you can ride that hype wave. Then the longer you wait, the harder it's actually going to be, not the easier, unless there's a lot of stuff you're doing there. But I do have a little bit of a cautionary tale. Here's that first one. As you see, it actually funded, but it didn't quite do as well as they were hoping. Is this as well? This is Aura Hunters. This is another one that they've now announced. Now, I like the look of this one more, to be honest. I think it just looks really cool. It's got some cool minis in it from what I hear. So I'm definitely interested in finding out more information on this. But I do worry about a company that has one failed Kickstarter and now 2 different games that are now have a Kickstarter preview. I worry that that's like, focus on the one and bang that one out, right? Like, make that one super awesome and super great, and then move on to the other one. Because not only will you be able to give each game its proper focus, but then that also builds a user base or a fan base and people that will follow you. It proves a track record, which helps you a lot in a future one. You don't quite have to have that new person, new company kind of game and hurdle to go over. But then additionally, all the lessons learned. If I waited to like release videos and by like making all the videos, I wouldn't learn as much as I would making a video, delivering it, seeing the feedback from it, going through the motions and learning that process, and then doing it again, right? When it comes to the editing and the publishing and all that other kind of stuff. So imagine that, but that's just a video. Imagine a board game, like delivering it everywhere around the world. Like that's a tall order, and I think those lessons learned are really good to do. So best, I think, to do that. But guys, I mean, that's it. That is everything I'm kind of looking at right now. Everything that I've kind of like put my eyes on that I'm really starting to track. If there's something you think that looks cool that I may have missed or that you would like to share, feel free to down in the comments below, and I would be more than happy if I if I have room. It depends on, it gets really tight in there, and that description, which has a ton of links, by the way, go ahead and check that out. If you liked the video, of course, on your way out, please leave a like. I do appreciate that. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Take care, guys. Bye.